There are 10 rules that if you don't follow them, you'll never be able to pass any assessment day. And I'm going to tell you what those 10 rules are so you can follow them and get your approval. Hello, how are you? I'm Romulo Gutierrez. This is the Flight Deck Briefing Channel. I've been a recruiter and selector for 28 years, with extensive experience in various airlines around the world. Today, I provide training for recruiters from 45 airlines worldwide. And today, I'm going to tell you the rules to be approved on assessment day. Those rules that aren't made public? That's right. I'm going to tell you small things that make a big difference at this important moment. So pay close attention. I've divided the video into 3 parts. Part 1, some general rules that many candidates don't observe, and they fail for silly reasons, for nonsense. The second part of the video, the group dynamics part, the group dynamics, what to say, what to do. And the third part of the video, the final interviews that are conducted on assessment days. So stay tuned. First important point. Personal presentation, according to the company's dress code. This is one of the most observed factors. Many candidates, they are failed on assessment day without knowing or without being told. I'll give examples. Inappropriate clothes, dirty shoes, hair. Outside the standards of the company you're applying to, beards for men that are completely outside the standards that company requires, very heavy makeup, a watch, or even the lack of a watch. Every cabin crew candidate must have a discreet wristwatch. It's very important. It's fundamental during assessment day. You being a flight attendant and looking like a flight attendant. If they don't see that, you'll hardly be able to pass. You're failed right at the beginning, and I tell you this because I train recruiters to make these observations. Okay, so be very careful with all these details. Second point that is observed even before you participate in any activity on assessment day, which is smiling, socializing with all the candidates. I'm in the Lufthansa selection, I'm in the Air France selection, I'm in the Frontier or British Airways selection. It doesn't matter the company. During assessment day, all those that hold this type of event try to talk to other candidates in a friendly, smiling way with good posture. Because many times, keep this in mind, while waiting for the activities to begin, there are candidates who aren't actually candidates. There are candidates who are recruiters disguised as candidates. They're specifically watching what you say, your posture, if you smile, if you greet people, if you're kind to the staff. You arrived for the Emirates assessment day. Did you greet the receptionist? Did you say good morning? At the end, did you say thank you, have a great day at work? It's these small behaviors that many people slip up on, don't notice, and fail because of. Speaking of failing, now I'm going to move on to the group dynamics part. Stay tuned. Part B of the video. If you want to know the 50 mistakes that most often cause cabin crew candidates to fail, worldwide, I've listed those 50 mistakes in my ebook, okay? This ebook is in the first pinned comment and in the video description. If you read this ebook, you'll significantly decrease your chances of failing the assessment, day, or any other stage for any airline in the world. Check it out. There's a discount coupon. The price is special for those coming from the Flight Deck Briefing channel. First comment and video description so you don't mess up. Let's go now to the group dynamics part. In the assessment day group dynamics, to pass, listen closely. That's the first point. It's not just what you say, but mainly how you listen, how you pay attention. I always recommend that any candidate for cabin crew have a small notepad. You're going to participate in group dynamics, usually involving onboard situations, customer conflicts, angry customers, various situations you'll have to discuss with the group. Of the roughly 30 airlines in the world that do assessment days, 28 of them work with this type of situation. I even help create some of these situations, which is why I'm instructing you. So keep your ears open, be very, very attentive with your listening. In other words, when a colleague is saying something, look at them attentively, nod your head, smile. If you disagree, take that notepad I mentioned, something very discreet, and jot it down cantly. This'll show the recruiter, the selector, that you're someone who's attentive to others, which is a very important prerequisite for any flight attendant. Second fundamental factor of group dynamics. Call everyone by their name, okay? One of the things you'll have to try to memorize is the names of the people in your group, on your team. Try to memorize them. With me are Larissa, Petra, Francesca, and Pablo. These are the people who are, and Isaac. These are the people on my team. During the group dynamic, when I have to interact with them, call them by their names. This factor shows attention, care, diligence, and respect for others. And usually these 4 pillars are the ones they look for the most. You can take an Arab airline like Etihad. You can take an American airline like Delta Airlines. They'll observe how much you truly respect others. And one of the ways to show respect is to call people by their names. During the group dynamic on assessment day, call people by their names. Let's move to the third. Now the group dynamic tips are getting hotter. And in just a bit, I'll talk about the final interview. Before I continue, if you want individual mentoring live online via Google Meet for any stage of your selection to train for your assessment day, for the face-to-face interview, for their virtual interview, in the in-person group dynamic, in the application itself, no matter the stage or the airline. We'll always customize it for the airline you're applying to. You'll click the link in the video description or the first comment, which is the website www.flydeckbriefing.com. Go to that website, click down here, it's all ready. There, you'll choose how many mentoring sessions you want to do. There, you'll already have a field to write, which airline it is, which phases you want to train for. All right? Right there, you'll choose the days and times to make your appointments, and you'll pay on the Hotmart platform, which is accepted in over 100 countries worldwide, with clear refund policies, 100% secure. When you do that, you'll receive the Google Meet link for the sessions you've booked, and you'll get full support live, nothing recorded, and online, so you can do well on your assessment day, or any other stage, of any airline in the world. Take a look there and sign up here at Fly Deck Briefing. We have new videos on Mondays and Wednesdays. Mondays and Wednesdays at 1 in the afternoon, okay? Let's go then. Now let's move to the third point of the group dynamics. I call this the triad of resolutions. 3 points that resolve any onboard situation. Remembering that group dynamics are heavily focused on onboard situations. When you're dealing with onboard situations to resolve as a team, 3 factors in order. Factor 1, safety. Factor 2, customer experience. Factor 3, teamwork. And here you insert a little word called hierarchy. All right? I'm in the group dynamic on assessment day. Then a situation arises where a fellow cabin crew member is arguing very angrily with a passenger who just asked for a seat change. He didn't treat the passenger with courtesy. What will we do in a situation like this? And we have to discuss the situation. Remember, to resolve any situation, you cannot remain silent. During the dynamic, you need to give your opinions, but remember, first focus, flight safety. Second, customer experience. Third, teamwork and hierarchy. So for you to solve this, it's important that you have your opinions according to these 3 principles. All right? And then you'll give your opinions. I'll even ask you to come to the comments and write how you'd solve this situation so I can interact with you. Let's go to the 4th group dynamic tip. In a bit, I'll come to the final interview on assessment day, the face-to-face interview. Stay tuned. Time management, okay? During group dynamics, it's very important that you show yourself to be a good time manager. Time in airlines is gold. Gold equals time. Follow the time, and you'll follow the path to being approved as a cabin crew member. What do you mean, Ramula? They gave us 10 minutes to resolve this situation. We'll have to discuss what we're going to do, what we'll do with this colleague who mistreated, for example, the passenger. This is close to takeoff. It's a 10-minute discussion. Show the recruiter that you have control of the time, the whole time. You're watching the time. How do I show that? When it starts, everyone's done their brief intro. I've already memorized my colleagues' names, and I'll say, look, let's take 1 minute per person. Each says what the resolution formats are, and then we can reach a consensus. See, I already said 1 minute. Then everyone spoke. When everyone's done, guys, I think there's only 3 minutes left because 7 have passed. What do you think about us already building the final consensus on how we're going to present this? In those 10 minutes of dynamic, you'll show once or twice that you have control of the time. This will help you a lot. Fifth factor. Now I'm coming to the final interview. Body language, okay? Body language. I always say this. During the group dynamic on assessment day, maintain your posture, keep an open, balanced expression. Our body speaks volumes. Suddenly, one of the colleagues, Isaac, is giving a solution that's completely off. He's saying that we should call the captain to say that our fellow crew member is mistreating a customer. So that we could just leave him there at the base before the flight takes off. A completely wrong solution. And then when the colleague says that, Isaac, I do this to him. Look, a face, a really horrible face. A look of disapproval. Avoid this type of look, a facial expression, during any group dynamic. That prove much more. And if the colleague says something you didn't like, keep a straight face. Pay attention. Don't do this. Try to interact in a serious but friendly way. So be careful with your body language. And if I can give one more group dynamic tip, which I really like to teach, it's know how to defend or change your position. In some group dynamics on assessment day, it's common for recruiters, for example, a recruiter from Qatar Airways or a recruiter from Emirates itself or a recruiter from Delta Airlines, he might come up to you and say, look, I disagree. I think you solved this situation the wrong way. And then he proposes another solution. I'd like you to talk about that. And then, to what extent do you have to agree with the recruiter? To what extent do you have to stand your ground? So, what's my tip? Remember I said there are 3 fundamental factors for you to solve? Safety, customer experience, teamwork, and parentheses there, hierarchy. If he's saying something that's within these 3 pillars, there's no problem with you changing your mind. Say, look, listening to you, I understand that it really would be better. And you explain why. And if you realize that what he's saying is wrong, politely and by name, you can say, look, Miss Katia Morellis, I perfectly understood what you said, but I would stick with the team's solution because... And then you're going to talk again about flight safety, customer experience, and teamwork. Now, on assessment day, final interviews are also common. When you pass, you'll get to the final interview. And so for the final interview, I've brought 3 important tips here. The first one, what is it? Try to have examples for situational questions. During a face-to-face interview, questions like, tell me about a day you felt bad at work and what you did to get your good mood back, for example, are common. Tell me about a big mistake you made in your last job. They're situational questions. Tell me about a time you went above and beyond for a customer. They're situations. When you're invited to talk about situations on assessment day, use the STAR method. Situation, task, action, and result. Situation, task, action, and result. Got it? So it's no use saying, oh, the customer must always be treated well. They're very important to the business. Look, there was a situation where a customer was very dissatisfied. Then I tell it. Faced with this dissatisfaction, I took on a task which was, from there, based on that, I took action, and the result, detail the whole situation. How you reacted, what you did to improve, give details in up to 3 minutes. In a very personal way. Personal, you telling it. And this is very important for some questions on assessment day in the final interviews. Another important thing is that question, tell me about yourself, okay? When they ask, tell us a bit about yourself, give a brief presentation, which is that elevator pitch. Focus a lot on your career and why your skills are suitable for aviation. So when talking about yourself, talk about skills, adjectives you have for aviation. I'll mention 3 things I think are fundamental. Not that you must have them, you might have others. I'll say 3. Attention to detail, 1. 2. Liking people. 3. Being a good crisis manager. So I can say, introducing myself. Look, about me, I'm Romulo Gutierrez. I'm 48 years old. I have a degree in aeronautical sciences. I've always liked working. And then I go on. I've always stood out for being a good crisis manager. I'll insert my 3 main skills throughout this Tell Me About Yourself presentation, which will come up on assessment day in the face-to-face interview. And a third factor in this final interview, which you can't forget, is show that you're a flexible person, especially with schedules. They might ask if you're available to relocate, what it would be like to work 5 days away from home, being at your base for only 2. You'll be at a base in Doha. At least the selection process was saying that. And they say, look, no. You're going to change your base to Riyadh and not Doha. Is that okay with you? So sometimes the recruiter's checking to see if you're flexible. If you're very closed off about these issues, the tendency to fail increases. You fail. Dae? These are very important factors. Now, the most common questions, the ones that come up most, that can most likely lead to pathing, but also failing candidates in the interviews held on assessment day are in this video here, look. But here, I'm already going to give you the answer tips as well. Hurry over there to watch it. Excellent preparation. Take care and see you soon.
Bye.